Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you so much for taking the time to join. Today's meeting or call, I hoped we could talk about the system conference and some of the things we learned and give each other some recommendations for recordings to check out, things like that. And then have a discussion about some of our design needs. And I guess we'll get into that in a little bit, but I wanted to start with the system conference discussion. So pretty informal today, so definitely feel free to unmute yourself and, shout out, I guess. And I would like to start by asking people, those of you who attended the system conference, to share something that you took away or learned, or a session that you particularly enjoyed, or any sort of thing that stuck with you after the system conference. I can start. I attended or I hosted a Charlie Payne session that talked about photography, and I hadn't taken a photography class since like high school, so I really enjoyed learning some of the principles of photography, like the rule of thirds, I think it was called. I find myself thinking about that when I'm taking random photographs now. Does anyone else have anything they want to share that stood out to them from the conference?
I could share something, Katie.
Yeah, go for it.
The woman, I think her name was Deanne or something like that, from Ohio State.
Yeah.
She mentioned a couple of really cool things. Her extension implemented email programming. So, for instance, she had a 6-week program, and it was like subscription based. So you sign up for the 6-week program, and then every week the client got an email in their inbox, and it was the first week of the program or curriculum, and they had to do it. And then week 2, the next part of the curriculum would roll out. And I thought that was actually a really cool and contemporary way to start engaging an online audience in a subscription type model. And then the other thing she mentioned was that, and I don't know if they were doing it, but she mentioned having a website where you could navigate based on your age. So I think for some of our programmings, that actually makes a lot of sense. If you're a youth, you can go to 4-H, or, if you're a grandparent, you can go to the Relatives as Parents program, or, it's easier to navigate. We have so many programs that may, be age specific. I thought that was also really cool.
Great, thank you, Tara. And Nate put in the chat box that he loved hearing about various success stories and 4-H STEM projects from different counties. Yeah. Awesome. Anybody else? Okay, Meg asked about the availability of recordings, and I hoped to have them all up by today, but they're not quite ready. But I did include in these slides links to all of the recordings, so that for the communication sessions, and then a couple others that I called out that I thought were communications related. So when the recordings are available, they'll be at the links that are included in here, and actually, I think I pulled up, yeah, this page as well. So it's just conference.cce.cornell.edu will bring you here, and you can click whatever session, and then the recordings will be available in here. To replace the webinar link, it'll say webinar recording, and that's where the videos will be located. Well, here's the direct link, Carla, but you can also type in the conference.cce.cornell.edu and it'll take you there. Thanks, Heather. Barbara says she enjoyed Chris's overview of the extension system at the beginning because she gave a lot of presentations about CCE, and it was good to hear some of the background and data as a reminder of things to include in presentations. Yeah, very good. I also enjoyed that. All right, let me go back to my slides. So I wanted to take a minute to thank Tara and Charlie and Carrie and Jordy and Paul. I think some of you are on the call today. I really appreciate you participating in the communications track of the system conference. I was at all of them as a host, I guess it's called, and they were all really excellent presentations, and I learned from each and every one of them, so I really, really appreciate that. And anyone who wasn't able to attend any of these, I definitely recommend going back and checking them out. I'll keep you all posted when the recordings are up. Sorry I wasn't able to have them up today. We've tried to make them more accessible by adding captions and transcripts, and it takes a little bit of extra time, so not quite ready. I'd love to hear from some more people about their reflections from the conference. Anyone else wants to share? Or another question could be if anyone has any ideas. I know it's a year away, but you know, the more time we have to plan for next year, the more creative we can get with some of our sessions. So if anyone has suggestions for next year or things that they thought were missing from the conference, any kind of feedback is great.
Hi there, this is Nicole from Sullivan.
Hi, Nicole.
I just wanted to recommend that a couple of folks did this in their sessions, and it really helped. So, you know, we're all managing a lot of different areas and trying to keep track of all the different sessions in the conference. And they sent an Outlook appointment as well. And that was really helpful to just find the link when you needed it.
Yeah.
Well, so that it kind of prompts you. So that was my recommendation.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Thank you. I'm not exactly sure, Meg. You said in our office the links did not show in the calendar form. I don't exactly know what that means. Could you clarify that? Casey said, I would love to see more real world examples versus just text of slides. For example, would have been great to have audio samples in podcast session to show versus tell. Good feedback, thank you. And Barbara, it would be good to have a session next year about promoting CCE, our associations, and explaining to the public and other audiences what we do, our history and how we do it, as well as how we use empirical research data from the university to support what we do. In other words, how to organize the macro picture as well as the micro picture. Yeah, I think that's really key. Really good point. Something that I know RJ thinks about a lot.
Yeah, hard to fit that into 45 minutes, I think.
I know, really. In the grid that I just showed. Oh, Oh dear. Seems like technical issues on the side of the conference site. That's very weird. Oh, all right. I guess the grid didn't work as we hoped. That's disappointing to hear. Oh, very weird. I'm not sure what that was all about. We'll definitely keep it in mind for next year, though. And it could have been, I know, the beginning of the conference. We overloaded the system, and some people couldn't access anything, or could, but it just took a few minutes longer than you normally would expect. I wanted to call out a couple other sessions that I think are relevant to this group. The creating accessible images and why digital accessibility. Probably most of you have heard some form of the why digital accessibility, but it's a pretty solid recording. We actually, that one, the recording is up. So I would recommend it for maybe sharing to people that you don't think have gotten the accessibility spiel yet. So that's up and available. And the creating accessible images one is also, the recording is also posted for that one. And then Tara mentioned the keynote. That was a really nice reminder of why it's important to have digital engagement as part of your education plan, making sure that all the information is available online as well as the in-person. Yeah, I agree, Casey. It was a good reminder for all of us. All right, that's all I really had for the system conference. I just was hoping that we could share some lessons learned and recommend some recordings for others. Unless anybody else has anything else to say about that, I'm going to move on to topic number 2. Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I should have included the link to that. It wasn't on that one, so I didn't think of it. But yeah, the second one with Danae was from Ohio State. Apparently is excellent too. So check that out if you weren't able to attend. Thank you, Carla. All right, I think we'll move on to topic number 2. So I know this is a little bit vague, but since I started, branding has been a really big emphasis of at least my position. And one thing that it's become increasingly clear to me that we need is a good set of templates or things to start from when we're creating things like flyers and brochures and any sort of printable materials. And it's something that we don't currently offer or have on hand, although a lot of people I know in associations do have a lot of great templates that they work from. So RJ and I just wanted to get sort of a feeling from you all about what sort of design and templates you most need or think would be most helpful to you. This could be, I mean, don't hold back. It could be like crazy things or things that you use every day. We just want to hear, you know, what your needs are so that we can think about how to address them. Meg says business cards. Okay, business cards.
Flyer templates.
Flyer templates. So like, would that be like a poster or like a one-page bulletin board type thing?
Yeah,
What are like the elements of a flyer in your mind? Oh yeah, I made those templates. Yeah, I'd love to do more or facilitate getting more of those type templates. I'm glad you found them helpful, Barbara. Brochure. So Terry, you mean like a trifold type thing? Yeah, okay. There's Heather, there's a template for business cards on the brand site, but I think it was created in Publisher, and I might have recreated it in InDesign. But it probably could use some work, so I'll definitely look into that. But you're right, there is one on the brand site, business card on the brand site. Yeah, rack cards. And program flyers. So I'm guessing that a program flyer would be like showcasing an event. Program one pagers. Okay. With stats. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and people love infographics. But they're hard to make, I think, in my experience. You guys can feel free to unmute yourselves too. Save me from reading. I'd like to see that template from Albany that counties could fill in. Oh yeah, I can share that.
Hey, this is Nicole again. Just mentioning that a lot of the folks in Sullivan, at least, that sometimes work on flyers and business cards and brochures and things like that, that would be some of these templates would not have access to the Creative Cloud. So
Yeah.
it's just mentioning that maybe like a couple of different template programs would be awesome.
Okay, great. I talked with someone, I can't remember who at the moment, about using Canva. Is that something that anyone is using?
I'm using that.
Do you find it helpful, useful? Is it easy?
I think it's case by case. Like I'll use it for a random little something to post, but not for actual ads or flyers or anything. But it's not a bad place to start when if you need just a template.
Okay, cool, great. Yeah, I've been meaning to look into that a little bit more. I think sometimes Word or Office might not have everything that we want, and then Adobe, like the Creative Cloud, either people don't have licenses or it's really complex. You kind of have to dedicate time to learning it. So yeah, I would love to hear any suggestions about things that are kind of in the middle that people are using. Lucid Press, I think I used once for a poster and it was pretty good. Yeah, agreed. Video would be like a, yeah, that would be very useful. I agree with that. Any other ideas? I'm just gonna, while people are thinking about this, I'm going to go quickly to the brand site. And everyone can see my screen, right? I think I shared my screen, not my window. Okay. So this is where I've been keeping the templates that we currently have. Just as I create like one-off things, I try to put the templates here. And I definitely welcome anyone that also works from templates that is willing to share them. I encourage you to share them with me so I can add those here as well. So we do have the PowerPoint template, which is, I'm sure you've all seen it. I'm using it right now. There's a white version and a red version. Very simple. There's a letterhead template in Word. These are just like very basic Word templates that have like a little bit of styling to them that has like the brand colors. Oh, and here's the business card template. Okay, so there is an InDesign Illustrator file and a publisher file for business cards that are definitely usable. This is a link in the chat box. Really, I'm gonna click this link. I want to know what the video is you sent, Tara. Ah, yeah, this one. Nice. That's in some of the sort of new staff orientation materials, that video. There's also a certificate template. That people can use. Again, really basic. And the email signatures template. I don't believe there's any templates on the university brand site. And then of course 4-H has a library of resources too. At the end of the video, Tara? Ah. Oh, this thing? Cool. Yeah, that is very catchy. Yeah, so it seems like most of the template needs are kind of like to share sort of broad programmatic information, convey what extension is, kind of thing. Are there any more like things that you update regularly? Like just one pagers that have like a specific set of information or anything like that? And also, if you think of something after this, I'm going to send out a poll to the whole communicators list for asking for basically the same input I'm feeling around for today, so that we can get kind of a comprehensive list of the needs together to get started at least. And I'm sure things will come up, you know, as we go along. Other needs will come to people's minds. Yeah, there's we're we're in the process of working on a CCE photo archive right now. You can search by CCE in the Widen Collective, which is it photo or photos? I can never remember.
It's photos.
Photos.cornell.edu, but it brings up photo.cornell.edu, but it brings up a lot of things that are probably not as useful, like pictures of people at events that are particularly old and stuff. So we are working on curating one, kind of like what CALS did. They have a CALS brand collection, and we are working on creating a CCE brand collection. Yeah, definitely. CALS has some really nice photos in there. I definitely, in the meantime, I definitely suggest checking out the stuff that CALS has, and actually all the stuff at photo.cornell.edu is really great. There's stuff out from outside of CALS that's really high quality. Oh yeah, here's the site and CALS brand. Yeah, so there's a lot of pictures of faculty, but you can also, the search function works really well. So if you're looking for something particular, you can search through here. But once we have the CCE one up, we will do like a little explainer about how to find stuff and how to how to find stuff. Yeah, and add your own. I stopped myself from saying that just because that's like phase 2.
Yeah.
We have to figure out how to do it and populate it first, I think, and then come up with a process for adding new stuff. See, does anyone else have any? We can talk about design. We can talk about the system conference. We can talk about anything anyone else has on their mind. Okay, well, I definitely encourage all of you to think about what your design and template needs are and what would support your work, and share it with RJ and I. And again, you know, if you have some sort of merchandise idea or some sort of thing that might be out of the scope of what we're actually asking for, don't hesitate to tell us, because it helps for us just to know, you know, what people are looking for, what we can do to support.
And even if you want to mention specific programs that you would like one-pagers about.
Yeah. Yeah, like the elements of the template too are key, because if we create, for example, a one-pager, but the images are too big and you don't have enough room for text, like we kind of need a little bit of direction about that, or should it just be incredibly flexible? Like the one-pager for the Albany visits, it wasn't very flexible because we want to just pretty much standardize them. And so, you know, we can look into creating things that are kind of really standardized like that, or things that are more flexible. So just keep it in mind, and just know that RJ and I would love to hear from you about what you would like and what your needs are. And as you talk with your colleagues, keep this in mind too. And I'll share that that survey. I'll share it with the communicators list, but you're welcome to share it wider if you want to send it to like your ED or other colleagues that are, you know, often creating stuff. Definitely share it wider. Thanks for sharing, Carla. I'm going to click on it.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Great. Thanks for sharing that.
Hey, Katie, I have a question for you. I was looking at our website and the CCE website, and our mission statement and the statement of each program is slightly different from the main CCE website. Are we supposed to be identical with the main CCE site as far as the mission statement goes?
From my understanding, the missions kind of vary across the association. Of course, it'd be wonderful if we all had the same one, but I think that some people, some associations have tweaked it a little bit to fit their, you know, particular mission, which, you know, probably makes sense. I don't know. Is there more to it than that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
Not sure, but it's a good question. All right, well, I suppose today is a quick meeting. I just wanted to point out quickly a couple of upcoming things. One is the upcoming Cornell Web Accessibility Camp. It's a one-day free camp that's on Cornell's campus. You should have all received a little bit of information about it yesterday from Heather. And if you're interested, sign up today because we are doing a pre-camp session, and RJ and Paul Treadwell are putting that together. And we are offering one night in a hotel if you come to the pre-session and then stay for the camp the following day. So, but we need to finalize that because it's creeping up on us fast. So we'll be closing the registration this afternoon. So definitely, if you're interested, register for that today. And then the next accessibility webinar is next month, and we'll be talking about accessible PDFs, which is a huge topic. So Heather and I will be researching away about all the methods for PDF accessibility in the next month. And then May 29th is the tentative date for our next call. And also my idea for that call is, so as I've told people about what they want to do with these calls, social media comes up over and over as like something that we need to talk about more, share our strategies and our strengths with each other. So I would like to put together a panel of folks to share their experience with social media. So I'll come up with a series of questions based on things that have come to me and things that have come up to RJ. And we'll just get like 4 or 5 people to volunteer to share their experience. So if anyone is interested or willing to be on that panel or submit questions, please let me know. And I'm just looking at the chat box, Barbara. You don't need any special permissions to use the Cornell photos, no. There are some different licensing options when people upload them, but in general, when you're logged in, it asks you what you're going to be using it for, and that's pretty much what you need to do. And it's always, of course, a good idea to credit the photographer. But other than that, you're totally safe to use them. They're for us to use. All right, so that is it for today. Definitely keep in touch, and I will look forward to talking with you all next month, if not sooner. So thank you again for taking the time today, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.
Thank you.